Hey, what's up everyone? Ashley here. Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies. It's time to talk Jungle Cruise, the latest live-action movie from Disney. It's out in theaters right now and it's also available on Disney Plus as part of the Premier Access offering. Jungle Cruise stars Emily Blunt as an English researcher named Lily who heads to the Amazon in search of the Tears of the Moon. It's a mystical plant said to have healing powers. She's accompanied by her brother McGregor, played by Jack Whitehall, and to help them on their quest, Lily hires a skipper named Frank, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, before I get into the full review of the movie, a couple quick things. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing by hitting that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you like this review or this video, hit that like button. And don't forget to jump into the comment section, share your thoughts about Jungle Cruise the movie, Jungle Cruise the ride, Emily Blunt, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and all of the above. All right, so on to the review. Jungle Cruise is a mildly entertaining action-adventure that incorporates so many elements from similar movies, such as The Mummy or Pirates of the Caribbean, just to name a few. In fact, the opening sequence of Jungle Cruise, when they are telling the history, the mythology behind this supposed curse and the whole Tears of the Moon, it reminded me so much of the opening sequence in The Mummy. All the way down to the narration, how that styling of how that narration was put together really was like a callback to The Mummy. This film also has a lot of heart and humor, and it has these two really incredible charismatic leads in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. In fact, their chemistry is amazing, and I'd argue that their interactions on screen are probably the best parts of this movie. Hands down. They are so amazing together on screen. They have this really good banter with each other, especially because their characters are always kind of at odds with one another. And they play those roles so well. And it comes across on screen, and it just made this movie more enjoyable because they are just perfect in these roles. They're just fantastic. Jungle Cruise is a live-action adaptation of the popular theme park attraction. And so there are plenty of nods to the attraction in the movie, especially in the first half of the movie when we're introduced to Frank, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's character. He's a skipper, and when we first meet him, he is leading a jungle cruise down the river, and he is dishing out these dad jokes to his passengers, to minimal laughs. But it reminded me so much of the actual attraction at Disney parks because that's similar to what the ride is like. You get on the boat, and there's a skipper, and they kind of have, dish out these terrible jokes, these puns, if you will, as you're making your way down the river on the attraction. So I liked that little nod there. And there's some other nods here and there to the attraction in the movie. I'm not going to spoil them here, but they're there. If you've been on the ride, you'll notice them. Now, while I did find Jungle Cruise to be enjoyable, this film is not without its problems. One particular problem was the visual effects, which I found to be pretty lacking. And this movie relies so heavily on visual effects too. I mean, from the jungle sequences, the action scenes, even the creatures and other characters that are in the movie are created with CGI. And I don't know if the film was going for a more artificial look, but the visual effects in some places looked a little unfinished or not as polished as you would expect from such a big budget blockbuster type movie. And in some scenes, the visual effects kind of took me out of the scene because they weren't really great. Now, in addition to Johnson and Blunt, Jungle Cruise has a number of other actors in various roles in this movie. And one of them is Jesse Plemons, who I've enjoyed in most of the roles I've seen him in. He plays a villainous type character in this movie, and for whatever reason, this character did not work for me. I don't know if it was just kind of the way he was playing the character that just kind of seemed at odds with the rest of the movie. Maybe a little too over the top, but really the accent that he was using just was very distracting. And in many parts of the movie, I didn't understand what his character was saying half of the time because I just couldn't understand what he was saying. So maybe that was part of the reason that character didn't work for me, because I didn't know what he was talking about most of the time. You also have Paul Giamatti in a very small role. I didn't really understand why Paul Giamatti had to be in this movie for that particular role, because his character is in scene, like maybe 2 or 3 scenes, maybe, and it's just kind of blink you miss him, so I guess I just really wanted Paul Giamatti in the movie. As I mentioned before, Tom Cruise is similar to a lot of other action-adventure movies from the past. I mentioned Mummy as one of the examples, and in many ways, that's one of the film's biggest problems, is that it feels like it's trying so hard to be those other movies. In some parts of Tom Cruise, it feels like The Mummy. And then in other parts, it feels like Pirates of the Caribbean. And then in some parts, it feels like Indiana Jones. I mean, you could just kind of name off different movies where it feels like Tom Cruise was trying so hard to be those movies. Now, it is an adaptation from a theme park ride, so I guess I shouldn't give it too much flack. But I will say Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, was similar in that it was adapted from a theme park ride, and it was a great movie. It did a much better job in that department. All right, so those are my thoughts on Jaume Cruise. As I said, it's out in theaters and available on Disney Plus as part of the Premier Access offering. If you get a chance to watch the movie, I would love to know your thoughts. You can share them in the comment section below. And while you're here, like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe so you see more videos like this.